How do you pick a real estate agent that actually works for you? So, the truth is, buying a house with the wrong real estate agent is like hiking without a guide who's never seen the trail. And so, you could end up lost, stuck, or paying way more than you should. And forget about all that. What if you end up in a house that you really didn't want to buy in the first place? This isn't exactly a small transaction that you're trying to get yourself into. And so I want to make sure that we set you up for success, and I want to make sure that you are picking the right agent and the right real estate expert that's going to guide you through this really huge financial transaction of your life. Because guess what? Spoiler alert, not all agents are created equal. And so let's dig into this. First off, a great agent isn't just somebody who goes and unlocks the door. Of course, that is a function of a real estate agent. They're going to come and they're going to help you see properties or whatever. But a real estate agent is so much more important than that. And a lot of people, unfortunately, because they're not true experts, we've seen a lot of struggle in the last few years, which is why there was a NAR settlement and things like that, because people were getting frustrating, paying these high percentages of commission fees, right, as the seller or the buyer, and they didn't really feel like they got their money's worth. And the truth is that's because those people weren't working with an expert, okay? And so let me help you explain what an expert does look like. So number one, they understand the market. They understand the trends. They understand what's going on. And they have other people in their corner that they push information back and against to make sure that they're staying on top of things. They also avoid overpriced duds. So houses that may look beautiful and pretty, but they're way overpriced. And a good agent, even if you love that house, is going to push back on you a little bit. And they're not going to be afraid to say, hey, I do think this house is a little bit overpriced. Ultimately, you're the one who has to make the decision. Nobody can make that decision for you. But a good agent, they're not going to be afraid to challenge your viewpoint on a few things. They also are going to write offers that actually win. They understand negotiation. They understand how important it is to have a game plan, and they discuss it with you. Again, ultimately, you're in the driver's seat, but because you don't do this every day, they should be your advisor and they should be showing you the way. And so they're going to help you dodge any red flags that just showing you the house wasn't going to uncover. Really good agents that I've worked with in the course of my career, they do an amazing job at really explaining to the client that, hey, I don't necessarily think that this is the route that I would go. Or, hey, in my personal opinion and my expertise, I wouldn't necessarily do this. Somebody who's a true expert, guys, is not afraid to challenge your beliefs. Okay? Again, this is what we do every day in and day out for a living, and they should be willing to challenge some of your viewpoints. A good expert does that. You don't just want an order taker. This is not a small transaction. It's the biggest one you're ever going to make. So you deserve somebody who's going to do more than just put you up on some drip list that sends you houses. Let's be real. Anybody with a license can do that. We want somebody who is your team, who is really invested in your success and cares about where you are going to call home. Because remember, when the dust settles, you're the one who has to live there, who has to stroke the check for the mortgage. We want to make sure that you get exactly what you want.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Imagine having the power to control your financial destiny, no matter where you start. Welcome to the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform, where financial education is tailored to your unique journey. We cover everything you need, from basic budgeting and saving strategies to advanced investing and retirement planning. Learn at your own pace with lessons that match your level of experience. Whether you're a beginner or looking to enhance your financial knowledge, join our community of learners and benefit from shared insights and expert guidance. The Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform equips you with the skills and confidence to take charge of your financial future. Ready to master your finances? Enroll in our courses today at the Financial Mastery Simplified course and resource platform. Start your path to financial independence now.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Hello and welcome to PBJ Mortgage, where your home ownership dreams become reality. Today, we want to share why choosing PBJ Mortgage is the right choice for your home financing needs. At PBJ Mortgage, we're built on a foundation of values that drive us every day. Our commitment to educate, empathize, and empower our clients sets us apart in the mortgage industry. Our clients are at the heart of everything we do, and their success stories speak volumes. With years of experience, our team possesses in-depth knowledge of the mortgage programs, ensuring you receive expert guidance and the best possible rates. We offer a diverse range of loan options to suit your unique needs, including conventional, FHA, VA, and more. No matter your situation, we've got a solution. At PBJ Mortgage, we pride ourselves on providing personalized service. Our dedicated loan officers are here to guide you every step of the way, making the process as smooth as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We understand that time is of the essence, which is why we've streamlined our processes for efficiency and convenience. Transparency and clear communication are paramount. You'll always know where you stand throughout your mortgage journey. Reach out to us today to set up a call to discover your options. If you're ready to make your home ownership dreams a reality, contact PBJ Mortgage today. Let us empower you during this exciting journey. Phone number 4-693-733-107 www.pbjteam.com. Visit our website or give us a call to get started. We look forward to helping you secure your future home. PBJ Mortgage, where home begins.
Thanks for your patience.
So let's talk about 10 questions that I like to ask when interviewing an agent. So obviously this is not like a standalone list. You can ask questions, more questions than this, or you can say that some of the questions that I came up with are not as helpful for you. That's perfectly fine. But here's a general list of something that could be helpful when you are going and trying to search for a really valuable agent. So number 1, are you a full-time agent or a part-time agent? Why exactly does this matter? Well, maybe the times they're available are not going to coincide as much if they're a part-time agent versus a full-time agent, right? Maybe they aren't going to be quite as knowledgeable, full-time agent versus part-time agent. It really, really depends. There are plenty of excellent part-time agents that really are experts, and then there's plenty of full-time agents that are not experts. And so it's not necessarily a hard and fast rule that full-time is preferred versus part-time, but you do want to make sure that whatever their schedule looks like, that they're going to be able to kind of work with you on what's going to make sense to be able to get you in the homes when you do want to be able to see them and you're available. Another question to ask is, do you work with buyers or sellers or both? So why do I say that? Well, some agents really heavily specialize only in one or the other. So it's important for you to know what they specialize in. And sometimes what's going to happen on certain teams is that they may tell you this is the person on their team that really works mainly with buyers, and here's the one that really mainly works with sellers, right? Some agents handle both and do a beautiful job of that. But it's important to know who they work with and for and what really drives them when it comes to that, right? Because agent that we recently worked with ourselves on our own personal deal, we had one agent that was very specific, seller focused. The only thing that agent focused on was making sure that the houses were selling, the marketing was on point. That was the sole focus for this particular agent. And then there was another agent in that same office that handled all of the buyer transactions for the office. So it's important to kind of know what it is and how they handle that, right? Okay, another one is neighborhoods. What neighborhoods do you specialize in? So it depends a lot on the area of the United States that you are in. So if you are in a small town, the agent is probably going to know almost everything in the area. If you're in a really major metroplex like I am, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, there's a really big fair bit of ground to cover. Some agents only specialize in certain neighborhoods or certain suburbs of our area. And so it's important to know what they specialize in. Maybe you're looking over a wide area, or maybe you are laser focused on one particular neighborhood. It can help to know what the agent may or may not specialize in so that you're on the same page and that you're picking the right person who understands specifically what you're looking for. Again, going back to the full-time versus part-time kind of option, another question you want to ask them is, what is the availability for showings, okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, if you work a very strict job where you're only available a very specific amount of times to be able to see homes, you want to make sure that that agent can match that, or that they have somebody on their team that can help you get into homes and see homes, okay? I mean, we understand that agents are people too, and they go on vacation or have life events, things of that sort. But you do want to make sure that, generally speaking, your schedules will align enough to be able for you to see houses in the way that you want to see houses.
Stay tuned. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsors.
Welcome to Financial Mastery Simplified, your go-to podcast for making smart money decisions. We break down complex financial topics into easy-to-understand advice you can use every day. Our experts cover everything from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. We give you the tools to take control of your money and build the future you want. With Financial Mastery Simplified, you'll feel informed and empowered to make the best choices for your financial health. Tune in to Financial Mastery Simplified on your favorite podcast platform. Start your journey to financial confidence today.
Visit us at fms.tips and fms.college for more information.
Welcome to House U, where we believe in the power of education. At House U, we're more than just a brand. We're your partner in home ownership, dedicated to educating, equipping, and empowering you every step of the way. Education is at the heart of everything we do. We offer comprehensive resources designed to make home ownership simple and accessible for all. From understanding mortgage options to mastering home maintenance, House U provides the knowledge you need to make informed decisions with confidence. We host workshops and seminars, bringing together experts and community members to share insights and build a stronger, more informed community. Because when you're educated, you're empowered. House U, home ownership made simple for all. Visit our website or contact us today to start your journey with House U. Empower yourself with knowledge and embrace the joy of home ownership.
Thanks for your patience. Now back to our conversation.
Okay, another really important question to ask is, how do you communicate? Text, email, phone, all three. Everybody has a very different communication style. And what's really interesting is, one of the things that I've learned over the course of my career is that oftentimes when there is a disconnect with experts, a lot of times it's how the experts are communicating to the customer, because the customer has this expectation in their head of how the communication stream is going to look like, whether that be text or phone call or email, and the expert is not matching that. So a lot of that could be alleviated if you just kind of understood how is it that they like to communicate and what's your preferred communication style, because this is going to help alleviate a lot of challenges as you go through this process, because you want to be communicating effectively with that expert, right? And so another important one is, what's your negotiation style? Negotiation style matters a lot, because some people like a really cutthroat negotiator. Some people are more laid back in their negotiation style. I mean, a good representative and example of this is, think about the people who would prefer to go to CarMax and get a very set price, and they're not having really to negotiate too terribly hard, or the people that go into a car dealership and they're hardcore pounding on that sales representative to really get the biggest and baddest and best deal, okay? A good example of this that I've experienced in my career is, we actually had a mismatch where there was a client who did not like the agent that they were matched with and asked us to help kind of navigate picking another agent for them, because the particular agent that they were matched with was very aggressive, very go-getter, an amazing agent, nothing wrong with that agent. It was just their style choices were off. And we placed them with somebody who was a lot more laid back, who was not a super tough negotiator, because that's kind of more what the client preferred. So negotiation style can really matter when you are picking an expert agent, right? Can I talk to past clients? Any agent that is worth their salt has no problem giving you a list of people you can reach out to that you can have a conversation with. Maybe that's not something you want to do. Maybe you don't want to talk to some random strangers or whatever, but it's not necessarily a horrible idea if you do want to kind of figure out like what their style was, or what you're kind of looking for there. Another one that you might want to ask is, do you work solo or do you work with a team? Okay. And why this might matter is, some people like to handle the aspects and the things business themselves, some people like to have other people who, if they are on vacation or they are out of town, they want to connect you with somebody in their office who can kind of help navigate that for you. And so maybe it doesn't bother you. Maybe you prefer one way or the other, or you don't care, but it's just a good idea to kind of know, like, how do they handle their business and what does that look like, right? Another one that honestly I feel like is really important is how they plan to actually write offers, right? Like, what does that process look like for them? So what I mean by that is like, if you decide that you want to make an offer, or is that something that they're fairly quick about? Is it something that takes a little bit more time? These are important questions to ask just so you can have an understanding of like what that's going to look like. Now, understand that a true expert is probably not going to write an offer unless you are pretty serious about it, because again, this is going to have implications even on their professional career if they're just making offers willy-nilly, right? And so you definitely want to make sure that you guys are on the same page on what that's going to look like. And then last but not least, I would say this is really important, at least in my opinion. What do you love most about helping people buy houses, right? Like, what's their why? Why do they get into it? Why does this kind of get them up in the morning, right? Because I know that my why, like, is the reason I got into it. It was kind of on accident, but my why and why I stay is because I genuinely like watching people financially succeed. And usually owning a home is a big piece in that puzzle of financial success for them. And so everybody has their own why, and understanding what matters to that agent really is going to be telling for you on if they're aligned for you. No different than there are tons of experts in every different space. Not all people are a correct fit, right? I mean, this is kind of like dating somebody. You need to kind of try them on for size and kind of ask some questions to get some idea. And that's why these questions are so important. And so one bonus question you could ask as well, so kind of like a 11th question, if you will, is what makes you different from other agents? So what sets them apart? This allows you to help really understand where they're at. And if they can answer this question or any of these questions clearly or in a way that really resonates with you, they may not be aligned, and it's okay to move on. I say all the time, I don't have a scarcity mentality. I want to help everybody. However, I know that not everybody is my client, right? My client is somebody who values expertise and they value education. They value what myself and my staff, my team provide, that we really do go the extra mile. And not everybody values that. And that's okay, right? You can find the expert that values the same thing that you value. And so that's really important when you are going ahead and picking that agent, is making sure that your values and their values do really align. Now, the last thing that I'm going to say to you about picking an agent is make sure that it's done after you go ahead and get that pre-approval letter, okay? And why does it matter for you to get that pre-approval letter first? Well, an agent's only going to be as good as if they know, like, not only what your goals are, but how much you actually can spend. Because an agent, no matter how great and how wonderful of an expert they are, if they're taking you to see $1 million houses when you can only afford a $500,000 house, or they're taking you to see a $500,000 house and you're miserable there when you actually can afford $1 million house, like, that isn't going to help them. It's not going to help them set you up for success. It's not going to help you set yourself up for success. So I can't stress enough that before you pick that perfect real estate agent, I highly, highly recommend you go ahead and you pick that mortgage expert and you go ahead and you get approved, because it really is going to make all the difference in the world. And I will go ahead and include a link in the bottom of this with those top 10 questions to ask agents as a resource. So hopefully when you go out on this quest of finding your perfect agent, you'll do so with all kinds of panache.